Welcome, everyone, to the Spiritual Freedom Support Call number 25. How is everyone doing today?
We're doing great.
I know you're
doing good.
Brenda, I feel like it's been a while. It's been like
Weeks.
we've missed you.
I know, right?
It's been awful.
What's been going on with you?
Okay.
Right now I'm on a break because the carnival has they're moving to another location
Right.
and it doesn't open till Thursday, so I have until Thursday off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it?
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's a lot
I
of work.
stand there and make sure kids don't fall over, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, you got a job.
So I was
Justin,
able to
you're
pay my
super fun.
electric bill and my half of my water bill.
That's God.
And have money
That's
left
awesome.
over for some food and stuff.
That's
so,
great. That's great.
Yeah.
Justin, I think you ran away from your microphone again.
Oh.
Are you turned away from it again?
Yeah, I was doing something else. I keep forgetting.
He did this during the psychic class. He keeps like, Justin, you sound like 2 miles away. I don't know why. Like, are you turned towards your microphone?
Yeah,
Oh
he's
no!
Because
the
I'm
other
facing
room.
a wall, and like it's
Could-
it's like sometimes you kind of don't want to.
right. Right. You can't move your microphone.
No, it's attached to the computer.
Oh.
It's just. I mean, I kind of. Let me see. Yeah, I can kind of move it. I
Right.
can sort of move it. It's just that sometimes, I don't know. You just kind of turn and forget.
Mine has like a 10-foot cable. And the thing is, my microphone is literally a foot away from my computer.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of wasted cord. It's just sort of sitting there. And it's like,
I don't know why it's so big, to be honest with
well, just if you have to give you extra room if you want to have the computer in one place, and then because you don't really have to be at the computer in order to record, because you can have the headphone hooked up right to the microphone. So this just came in today, so I was like really, really excited when it came in. Anyway, so Justin, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How about you? How you doing?
I'm good. Very good. Now that this came in, I'm awesome. I'm excited. I'm working on. I'm trying to finish up a blog post. It's finally coming along well.
you. It wasn't before. You didn't tell me.
It's just, it took me a while to find my keyword. Keyword research is such a pain. Trying to find the right keyword to use, for each blog post, like one that people are searching for, and search engine optimization.
Right.
It's just a pain. So, but I got it, and so I'm writing the post now. It's coming along, which hopefully trying to get it in by midnight because I want to get it in like so it's counted for January because I'm really weird like that. So yeah, but everything else is really good though. So okay, we'll start out. Any specific questions for anything else? Oh, I should probably get a place to type. That would be good, huh? So I can type our outline. Okay.
I hear voice over loud and clear.
I'm sorry, you're going to today. Unless I can change the balance. Do you want me to do that?
No, it's fine.
I can do that. I don't mind.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Okay. So anyway, what I can't do is I wouldn't hear everyone else. So
Yeah.
okay. Any specific questions about anything? Did you guys enjoy the new moon? It was on Saturday. Justin, did you do anything for it?
I'm trying to remember what I did. What did I? No, I had a ritual going already. I had already done something beforehand, and I wanted it to go into the new moon and some of the waxing moons.
Right.
So I didn't really do anything for the new moon.
Right.
Aquarius is strange, anyways. But,
was it in Aquarius? I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, anyways. But I mean, like, it's cool. I just, I already had something going.
No, it's awesome. I always say I just did a really simple thing. I just did a meditation on my own. I found some good music to meditate to, some like shamanic drumming sort of thing. And Yeah.
Where do you get that? Where's that?
Just looked it up on YouTube, honestly.
I'm about to do that.
Look it up on
I
YouTube.
did that.
It was about
Yeah.
20 minutes long.
I did the High John with Black Jesus and a red candle. Three
Yeah.
yeah.
I wish our music that guy wrote for us for the Co-Create Your Life podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Careful, you're getting my headphones. I would love that outro, especially like without the voiceover, but just the chanting, the drone chanting, and the drums in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that for like 15 minutes as a meditation, because I'm obsessed with that outro, like that music. So I messaged him a few days last week, I think. It takes him a while to get back to me because we're in totally different time zones, because he's in I don't even know where, and he's like 12 hours ahead of me. Anyway, but so I asked him last week, like, where did you get that awesome chanting? Because if there's a full track to it, I'd love the full track because I really want to meditate to it. And then I asked him twice because he didn't get back to me the first time. And then he just got back to me yesterday, and he's like, I wrote that all for you. Like, you're joking.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You're joking. It's like
That
amazing.
is really cool.
I know. I don't know, Brenda, I think you heard it. I don't remember if you heard it, but it's like this shamanic, like really cool.
Yeah, remember we were
chanting.
talking about it.
That's right.
I didn't hear that.
You did. You need to go hear it, Justin. It is amazing. I don't know if
I thought you heard the podcast and you heard the drone.
No.
I'm on the podcast.
Remember I said it sounded like there was a Aboriginal, what do they call it, a didgeridoo or
Okay.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, didgeridoo? Oh, didgeridoo is great. All right, so here's the thing. It's
Yeah.
very strange to listen to a podcast you were on.
I know.
So I don't do it because
I know.
something is wrong with me.
I know. I would love to be that way, but I have to because I have to edit the audio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that you have to.
I have to listen. I have to go through with a fine-tooth comb and edit out everything that doesn't belong or anything like that. So I hate listening to myself too, but I sort of have to.
I should go through it and go, good point, Justin. Great. I should go through and just give myself a pep talk. Well, very own pep rally.
Everyone always says how much they really like you on the podcast. I get comments all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I always get
wow,
comments.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I always get comments how much people like you on the podcast. So,
like, he's such a sage. He's like sage.
Someone just made a comment even last week saying, "Oh, Justin made a really good point with something." I don't remember what it was now.
That helps.
Sorry. Well, you go through. I know you go through the comments, so you should have seen it.
I don't.
No, not you, Justin.
Oh.
I go through comments on most of the.
Yeah.
I go through a lot of the comments on most of the posts.
Right.
Wait, the podcast. You can make comments on the podcast too, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I'm still learning your site. I'm so happy you got the email option.
Yeah, that's easier, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I have to learn. I have to go through the podcast someday.
Right. Yeah, there are comments, but yeah, I get a lot of comments about people liking you on the podcast. There's a quick announcement. I'm excited for this coming podcast this weekend because we're actually going to have a guest. I talked about this last week, but I announced it and someone signed up. Someone offered. We're going to have a guest on who's going to talk about a goal that she has, and we're going to help her throughout the podcast work on that goal. And I think it'll be something that's really applicable to a lot of people. So, any of this stuff is universally applicable. You can apply the same principles to anyone, so any situation. But I'm excited for that one. Sort of like the old practical LOA we used to do.
Yeah.
But I got the idea of doing it on the podcast because it's not as before we were doing it live, and I think it was too much pressure for people. Like, oh, I have to. I'm gonna be live in front of these people, but it's on recording, and if something goes wrong, I can edit it. So I think it's not as much pressure.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm hoping more people apply. So I'm excited about that one. That'll be the Co-Create Your Life this Saturday, number 13.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. Anyway, but yeah, for the new, going back to our point, for the new moon, I just sort of did a meditation. I felt like, because I was talking to Hecate, and I felt like she wanted me to sort of just connect and meditate. And so that's what I did Saturday, just sort of spent some time and meditated. And it was really enjoyable. And I noticed, because sometimes the new moon really sneaks up on me. And I noticed my energy was so down towards the end of last week. And then I realized it was the new moon. Like, oh, that's why. My energy was just so down.
Mm-hmm.
Ever heard that happen?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's due to moon phase. Like for me, I feel like when I know it's new moon or it's the dark moon, it's like this empty, like, oh yeah, we're like, it's like the tide is about to come back in. But for me, it's kind of like, man, if I just want to, I can get rid of everything. It's great, for me. And then the new moon just kind of feels like
You are
new energy.
touching your microphone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was tangled. It was tangled up.
No, it's not. Mine barely makes any noise. Like if I touch it, you can barely hear anything. Though it's not like the same.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. My energy definitely gets affected by the new moon. I've definitely noticed that. But towards the end of last week, I was like, just not.
You're also really sensitive to your energy.
I am very sensitive to energy around me. Like I think there are some people who can just sort of get by and not really get affected by that. But
I don't know if I really was.
no, I don't know. I definitely was.
See, I don't think they don't know what. I mean, different things trigger different people's energy.
Right.
So yours may be sensitive. You can use it. You can use energy really well. But
Right.
you just may be affected by different stuff. Like you're affected by lots of things going on.
Yeah.
Some people aren't. But I mean, if we found their triggers, they would be just as affected.
Right. Well, it's different for everyone. But I think we are to some extent. I mean, it just makes sense. That we are to some extent influenced by, the moon cycles and astrology and, things like that. But I think it is different for everyone for sure.
Yeah, some people feel it more than others.
Right.
Because I kind of don't really feel it as much, but when I clue into it, I feel it.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. So, but yeah, I was definitely affected by it. So it was nice just sort of take some time and meditate last Saturday. And now I feel. Last night I got, for some reason I just couldn't sleep. I don't know what was going on. There were some other circumstances, but I woke up in the middle of the night and I just felt wide awake. And so I got up, and then today I was sort of out of it, but I didn't even need that much sleep to really recuperate and get back to normal. So now I feel like I have more energy than I did last week, So
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, so what do you wish to talk about today, Christine?
Beats me.
Well, sure. I think you should come up with something.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. No, I talked about this last week. The post I'm writing about right now is about. Do you guys remember? Well, Brenda, you might not remember, but I was talking about the life cycle of a desire last week. I was talking. Justin, do you remember that? You were here, right?
Yeah. The desire was about. I think it was about how long to keep a desire. What do you do when the resistance is too much? Should you drop it? You shouldn't. We talked about how the desire waxes and wanes, right?
It was more about how your desire gets from, initially feeling really exciting, really like over the top emotional, and you're really excited about it, down to feeling ordinary.
Okay, that would okay. That's so. When I meant waxes and wanes, I guess I use it the wrong way. Yeah.
No, I see
yeah.
what you mean though with that one. Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, I remember that because
yeah.
she you had a lady that was somebody just was a plane trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
The plane trip. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, that was more about deliberate choice. But what I was talking about was about basically, there comes a time in your manifestation where what you want has to become ordinary. It has to become everyday. It has to become normal to you. Do you know what I mean? Because
Right.
just, the more you practice it in your subconscious mind, the more it's become ordinary, the more it's going to become everyday to you. And I've mentioned before, like, okay, imagine you just got your desire. Like, okay, I just got my microphone and I am super psyched about it.
Yeah.
You should have seen me the last 2 days, like counting down the
Oh my
hours.
God. It was nuts.
Counting down the hours and but I'm sure after, I don't know, a week, it'll just be part of my everyday life. I have this awesome, it'll be my favorite microphone ever. I mean, I've never had a better. And by the way, if those who are listening to the recording, it doesn't come through so well on the recording because Zoom, the call software we use, purposely lowers recording quality. So if you're listening to it, like, it's not that great. No, just listen to the podcast this weekend. It's really awesome. But anyway, I was really, I was setting up today and I was really psyched. But after a week or so.
To be fair, you haven't heard it on Zoom yet?
I did. I tested it.
You did?
I mean, it's really good, but it's just sort of, they do lower the quality to like 72 kilobits per second.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty low.
Never mind.
Yeah. But no, because I had the same thing on the other one where it was like pretty, not as good as this one, but pretty good. And I listened to it back. I'm like, that is terrible. Like, I almost left them because it was so. You didn't hear it. I guess you didn't notice it, but I noticed it.
It's because you're picky.
My ears are really picky. Anyway, that's off point.
No, I heard it too.
Did you?
Remember, I said it sounded like there was a fan in the background.
Oh, no, not the hissing. I mean, like, if you were to listen to last week's support call, it sounds distorted almost. It sounds like,
kind of tinny.
Sort of, and it sounds like this, like, clicking in the background, like clipping is what they would call it. Like, to me right now, it sounds like, obviously I'm coming through really clearly. I mean, you, Brenda, you're on the phone, so it's not as clear, but Justin's coming through clearly. But on the recording, it just sort of sounds like everyone's not as clear, so it just sort of distorts it. But anyway, my point is, though, like, after a week or so, or maybe 2 weeks for this one if it's really awesome, but after a couple weeks, it's gonna be okay. That's part of my everyday life. Not to say it's not like my favorite thing ever, but it just sort of becomes ordinary, right? It's sort of part of what you do. So no matter how important or how wonderful something is to you, even if it's your biggest desire in the whole world, after a while it just sort of becomes, okay, that's that.
Yeah.
It has to become ordinary because that's just part of life. Life, really, the subconscious mind is about making your experiences, your regular experiences, feel ordinary to you. Because if they didn't, it would just be a lot of energy, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's really the point of what I'm trying to say. And what happens with a lot of people. So the angle I ended up coming at this post from was sabotaging your manifestations, because what a lot of people do is they will feel the desire not being so exciting, and then they'll try to force it. They'll try to force the excitement. They'll try to, it'll end up being kind of faked. They won't necessarily want to fake it, but it'll be that way because they're trying to force it. They're trying to make it be more than it is. And so it has this forced, fake, efforting feeling about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then just gets stuck. So I think, a lot of people, even with next level goals, they do really well with the beginning aspect, where they get really excited about that next level goal and they can feel really good about it for even long periods of time. And that is sort of where the traditional teachings cut off. Okay, feel really good about your goal, no matter what kind it is. And that's it. But there's this next level that happens, this next stage that, okay, I can't do that anymore. It's like I can't muster up that same emotion as I was able to before. It's not there. Why is that? And so, people try to force that because, well, emotion is everything, and that's what I have to do. That's, the only way to manifest. You have to really feel it. You have to be in joy and be in the vortex and all that kind of stuff. And so they force it, but and that's how they sabotage it, because it doesn't work after that. So they get part of the way and then it just sort of halts because they're trying to force it now, right? They didn't go with the flow of the energy of the desire, which is really important to do. Mm-hmm. So once, the thing to do, obviously, is to realize that it's going to become ordinary. It's going to become this new thing where it's not as exciting. Yes, you're looking forward to it, but it's more a comfortable knowing. Mm-hmm. That's the stage.
That's how you can tell when it's working.
Yeah, that's how you can know it's working. That's the stage it has to enter. Don't try to keep those emotions up at 100% all the time. I mean, that just gets tiring. That's what I keep trying to say. It's not about ego emotions. It's about spiritual emotions. It's just like we talked about 2 weeks ago. A week and a half ago. It's about those deeper spiritual emotions. It's not the ego emotions like, temporary pleasure and joy and stuff like that.
Right.
It's the deeper stuff. If you were to try to keep those positive emotions all the time, you wouldn't be able to do it. It's a pendulum. It has to go back and forth. You have to have a bit of both, and you're at the center.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, use those words for the deep emotions so people remember, like, what they're looking for.
What do you? What do you mean? The words that describe those deep emotions?
Yeah, like use those actual words we use on the podcast.
Yeah, we used peace, calm, stillness, even joy, but it's a more...
it's a muted joy. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, it's a more expansive...
Yeah. Feels like an expansion thing. Like
all-encompassing joy. It's not like this ecstatic happiness right here in the moment where, it's affecting your body and you really, like, it's this soft, gentle sort of joy.
It almost feels normal, but it feels really solid. For me, it's like this normal, but a solid feeling of, I got this, but it's normal, like
right,
almost like a platform.
Yeah.
That's just my impression. That's how you can tell it's working or that it's happening. And then you can even divine it if you want for yourself. Just don't get all wrapped up into, is it working? If you got to check on it, hey, how's this going? You just feel the energy of it and go, okay, is the energy, does it feel like it's coming together? If it is, good, outstanding. I mean, so that's, and it's got to feel normal. That emotion burst is what you want in the beginning.
Yeah. At first, you want those egoic emotions. You want that excitement. You want that hyped up, pleasurable feeling. That's great. That's going to tell your subconscious mind, hey, this is it. But it's going to have to settle down.
Another thing I've noticed that I have to be careful doing, I think, is trying to check on it after a hard day.
Yeah.
Because that will throw you off. You wouldn't think it, but it does. You gotta like chill out, meditate, cleanse, relax, do something, then check on it. If you're like got a bunch of stuff swirling in your mind, man, don't check on it really. Just don't.
Right, exactly.
I have noticed that. I know that sounds kind of like a random tidbit, but it actually is kind of serious, kind of real.
Yeah, well, you want to make sure you're in a good state before
Yeah.
you go and try to focus on that. Yeah, but this part is missed so much by people, and I had a I don't want to give too much detail, but I had a client yesterday, and we were talking about basically these next level goals, right? It's so overlooked by people. You know what I mean? Like, it's so because she was saying basically, and I don't want to give detail, but she was saying basically, you know, I'm trying to manifest this thing, and I think about it and I let it go and I forget about it and nothing happens. And I'm thinking to myself, well, of course nothing happens. It's a next level goal. I said, okay, how, so choose something easy that you want to manifest. Okay, and that you can manifest within days. How would you manifest it? Well, I just think about it, I forget it, and let it go. It happens, right? That's how I do it too. That's your current level goal. And I explained to her, I said, that's great, because that's already comfortable to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind knows that anytime you want this one goal,
you can do it.
You can go out and do it. Like for me, it's really, and I'm not trying to brag seriously, but it's gotten very, very easy to say, like last week I said, all right, before the end of this month, I want $200 more. And, and I focus on that a few times, maybe once every a day or two, for maybe 3 or 4 times. And I ended up getting, let me count it up, 230. How much was it, Christine? 230 plus
60.
60. There was another one too. Oh, plus 125. I ended up getting 415 instead of the 200 I tried to manifest. And that was barely any effort. That was a current level goal. So I know, like by now I have the confidence I can go out and say, all right, I want some amount of money. It can't, not unlimited. It can't say, $10,000 or something. That's not a current level, right? But I can say, a couple hundred, and it can happen within a few days. That's amazing. Now, other people, it's other things. I'm just trying to say this stuff works and why it works. But if you have a next level goal, it's totally different. And this person, this client, it wasn't her fault, because most of the teachings out there don't differentiate. They don't make a distinction between the current level goal and the next level goal. Right? And so she was trying to use the same technique, think about it, feel good about it, forget about it, let it go, wait for it to happen. And then after a while, why didn't it happen yet? This happened. It works for all my other, goals. Why didn't it happen here yet? And so I explained, these are 2 totally different types of goals. They take 2 totally different approaches, and that's what most people miss. And it really showed me that, that is very true. So you have to pay attention to what kind of goal you're working on, because if you're trying to apply the same technique, and either way, if you're trying to apply a current level goal approach to a next level goal, you're not going to generate enough momentum to get there. Whereas if you're trying to use the next level goal approach for a current level goal, you're totally overdoing it. I mean, it's way too overkill, because you don't need to go through all that, right? So,
no.
Right. So you have to respect and be aware of what kind of goal you're working on. And it's so important. And so many people don't realize this, and they need to. But the goal you have, and, I'll finish my point before I go switching points. The goal you have, check what type of goal it is. If it's easy for you, if it feels easy, like, oh yeah, I can do this within days, great. Then just think about it, let it go. You might think about it a couple times. It's up to you. Think about it a couple times, let it go. You have it. It's done. It'll be there. If it's not that, and don't fool yourself, if it's not that, if you don't really, truly, honestly, 100% believe you can have it within days or shorter, then you have to apply the next level goal process. And I know this is really simple stuff. I mean, to us, because we've been talking about this so much, but I just find, especially people who are newer to this material, and we're getting a lot of new people lately, so I feel like it's good to kind of summarize this.
Right.
But it's, you have to be aware of what goal you're working towards. Right. That's so important. Thoughts about that, Justin?
You gotta,
Yeah, because you don't want to overextend yourself
Exactly.
and get disappointed, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, forget it. I'm not going to try because it failed.
Right.
Exactly. You gotta choose it, and then that's when you, for the second level goals, when you gotta meditate every day.
Right.
Or, you gotta meditate for law of attraction, at least you gotta meditate every day, and you're going to meditate and you're gonna encounter that resistance.
Right.
And you're gonna allow that, and to use your, non-reaction to the resistance, and you're going to react and focus only on what you want and let that energy speed you there.
Exactly.
You got to do that every day, for a few minutes every day.
Right. Right.
So that's what you got to do for the second level goal. You're not going to get there
just by letting it go.
First level, God, it's, for first levels, it's, because it's hard to generate enough momentum to do it.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
It's just hard to do that.
Right. So, and the other thing is that I was going to point out is I get a lot of confusion about, okay, someone will say, this is a current level goal to me, but I don't know why it's so difficult for me to manifest. I say, wait, that's a contradiction in terms. It's not a current level goal to you.
It's not current level.
That's why it's not current level.
It's not current level.
That's why it's not current level, because if it were current level, you'd be like, oh, yeah, this is easy. I got this.
That means there's a block in the way.
Right, and that's the next.
It's not current level, man.
By definition, if you have trouble with it, if you're not getting it within, seriously, a current level goal, you should be able to intend it today and get it within a week, like maximum a week.
That's a current level goal.
No reason whatsoever current level goals shouldn't come within a week. If it doesn't come within a week, it's not a current level goal. End of story. Okay, so I find there's a lot of confusion because someone will try to say, this is a current level goal, and it's really not. And so they'll get confused. Oh, this should be easy. Well, it's not easy for you. That's okay. We have to admit where you are and start there, and then you can proceed. You can choose the right approach, but you have to know where you are. Because if you don't start from where you are, you don't know what to do. You don't know what approach to take.
Mm-mm.
Right? So, I mean, I find a lot of people doing that. And, and there's no benefit whatsoever in lying to yourself what kind of goal you're working on, trying to make yourself feel better or something, like trying to say an ultimate level goal is really next level or next level is really a current level. Your subconscious knows, and you're going to feel the difference. So I've made this distinction before, but if it feels like a stretch and you don't think you can get it within a week, it's a next level.
A lot of times what I do is test it and be like, okay, can I do this? I might go a couple of weeks and just mess with it and see exactly what the energy is doing before I tackle it, because that gets me a feel, and then go and just get it. And that's sometimes what helps, and you can just discern what level of goal it is. Because sometimes you mess with it and then it appears. You're like, oh, okay, that really was current level.
Yeah.
But if it's not, that's okay.
Right. But you just have to be aware of what kind of, and don't, like I said, don't fool yourself, because your subconscious mind will know. It will absolutely know what kind you're dealing with. And so you have to be aware of where you are so you can start there. So, if you're dealing with a current level goal, great. Just think about it a couple times, let it go, feel good about it. Think about it, feel good about it, let it go, it's done. And it's done. And you don't really need to know how to manifest those because you already got it. But And this is, like I said, my client yesterday, this is where she was with a lot of different situations was, okay, everything's really easy. I'm, really good at this and this and this and this and this. It's just this one area. And that's how we all are. We all have that one area at least that is harder, right?
Right.
So, realize what's the current level and then know what's the next level and take those different approaches and don't treat them the same way. That's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing, sorry, Christine. Anything about that? First of all, I'm kind of empty of questions today, so I'm just.
No, that's pretty solid with what you said. So.
Like I said, we have a lot of new people lately finding us from like Google and things like that. So I like to
like a review.
Cover.
Yeah.
Plus, even people who have been into this a while get kind of confused about some of these terms and how
It's
know.
good to
what's
recap
what.
every once in a while.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to mention was, if there are no other questions. Anything else? All right. The other thing I wanted to discuss was, okay, I've talked about parallel worlds before. You know about that book that I love, the Moving Through Parallel Worlds to Achieve Your Dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't I tell you about that, Justin?
No, but I know what parallel worlds are.
Yeah. I know I've talked about the book in the support calls. You might have been there that day. But so I was thinking a lot about, because I've been doing this lately, and I, have been realizing how, like, what my approach is to basically working with parallel worlds, because it can really be a good manifestation approach. It can kind of fit in really well with especially your next level goals, because a lot of this is in the book too. It's a wonderful book, but there's just some of this stuff is my own personal approach. So, but basically, is your focus. So, okay, first of all, the idea is that there are basically infinite number of parallel realities, right? You said you're familiar with the concept, Justin?
Because I have a trick that I use sometimes, and I'm actually going to use it tonight.
Oh, really?
But, yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is that you are existing in infinite parallel realities, and each one is just like another one, but just maybe a couple details off, maybe one detail different. And every time you make a decision, it's a split in the road, so to speak, where it's you have several realities that branch off, where one you made the decision this way and one you made the decision that way, and then everything else is how it would have been otherwise, right? Besides what the decision would have influenced. So, the premise of the book, and I've been working with this in my own practice a lot lately, the premise of the book is that through your own focus, you control which reality you are in, basically. Okay, because you hear about the experiments where, observation or measurement basically collapses the wave function into, one or another. When you're not looking at it, it's like all possible realities, right? So It's like, okay, so basically kind of applying to the law of attraction, it's sort of like, when you are focusing on your money situation, you are basically holding it in the reality it currently is. So if it's not such a good situation, you observing it, you looking at it, you thinking about it in the way that it is holding it there. You are preventing it from changing, because it can't. And this is, I've seen this again and again and again in my own life. You looking at the situation, you thinking about focusing on that situation, holds it where it is. Right? It holds it exactly where it is. It can't shift as long as you are looking at it as it is. Right? So as long as you are saying, yeah, this situation is not how I want it to be. It is, and you go off on all sorts of tangents about that. As long as you're doing that, you're holding an existence. So what I found myself doing, and I've really clarified this for myself lately, I mentioned, last week in my post about like how to stop a negative manifestation. I mentioned, okay, did you read that post, Justin? I don't know if you read it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How to stop a yeah.
I mentioned the tool, right? The question and statement combo. And the question is, what do I want out of this situation?
Mm-hmm. Because
That's been
been
such
some
a
comments on it.
powerful, that's right. That's been such a powerful question. And then once you know what, because, basically when you're focused on something negative, when you're focused on a negative outcome, an unwanted outcome, you're holding an existence. You're holding it in its current parallel reality, right? And then when you say, okay, this is what I'm focusing on, but what do I want out of the situation in a positive way? What do I want out of this situation? And then you focus on that. And then not only do you focus on that, but then you say, I choose to have, or I choose this reality, that is basically shifting worlds. In my experience, it works really quickly.
Yeah, it does.
It works really quickly. It's amazing how quickly it works. So
cool.
Yeah. So, asking that question, shifting your focus, letting go of the old reality, so that's a lot of what manifestation is. And I want to kind of clarify, I can foresee sort of some confusion on this point, so I'm going to head it off a little bit. Because I always say you don't want to ignore the problem. You don't want to pretend it doesn't exist. And that's true. So someone might say, well, if you ignore it, doesn't that mean you're just, then you can shift it to another reality? But there's a difference.
And ignoring it and not focusing on it.
Exactly.
It's
right.
not that it's if you think negative thoughts about it, don't worry about it. Just think negative thoughts. But right after they're done, don't react to them as much as you can. But right after they're done, you then choose it again. Don't worry about it. You just keep choosing it until that reality switches.
Right. Okay. So basically, yeah. So there's a huge difference between, being, like totally ignoring and trying to pretend it doesn't exist, and not focusing on it. There's a huge difference between that. The one is sort of an escapist sort of attitude. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of trying to, it's like by ignoring it, you're almost giving more power to it, And the other is just saying, okay, well, I'm not going to give it more energy. And that's what I say. I say, don't give it energy. So that's a difference. Don't pretend it doesn't exist, but don't give it energy. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's very important. You want to make sure that you're not giving energy. So if you withdraw your focus from it, and then you withdraw your focus from it, and then you turn your focus to what you want to create instead, that's how you create something. I'm going to pause for a second because Christine's going to be she went away for a second. She's going to come back. So I don't want there to be a lot of noise on the microphone. It's very sensitive. Okay. So it picks up everything. So I'm just going to pause for just a second.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all right. So, and I was distracted anyway because I was trying to make sure I didn't want too much sound to be picked up. This microphone is really, really sensitive. So it picks up like everything.
Oh dear. That's not good. I'm here.
Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Okay. Actually, I gave you the wrong side of the headphone. It doesn't matter. Do you want to? Okay. We'll swap. Okay. So my point, what I was saying was, that the difference between, when you withdraw your focus from something, you're not feeding it more energy. When you try to ignore it, you're basically, running away from it, right? And you don't want to do that. So withdrawing your focus from something, not pretending. Okay, I think that's the difference. Not pretending it doesn't exist, because that's what a lot of people do, right? They say, oh no, this exists, or this doesn't exist. I'm not gonna speak about it or whatever. Not pretending it doesn't exist, but just not focusing on it, right? So that's the difference. And then once you do that, and you're not giving more energy to that reality, it has the ability to shift. And then, speaking of parallel realities again, and then once it has that ability to shift, you set your focus on the thing you want to have happen. So, I mentioned in my post about the delay with the podcast intro. It was like there were just unforeseen delays, and it was really frustrating. Mm-hmm. And so I was focusing on that, really frustrated about it, and really focusing on that, really frustrated about it. And I knew just from personal experience that if I was frustrated about that, if I kept focusing on that it would not be able to change. Right? You ever have that experience?
Oh yeah.
You really want something to change, and you keep focusing on it not changing, and so it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So I changed my focus, and I started saying, okay, what do I want out of the situation? I want everything to go well. I want it to be really easy, really effortless. I want the podcast intro to be perfect for us, and get here on time, or at least within not too long of a time. And it started shifting. I've had really good results with this. It starts shifting almost immediately. Mm-hmm. So that, I think this idea of parallel worlds is really powerful for that reason, because as long as you're focusing on something, that's really important, I think, to take away from this. As long as you're focusing on something, you are holding in existence. And if that's a good thing, if it's a good thing you're holding in existence that you're focusing on, that's great. But it's really hard. So this is basically my point. It's really hard to let go of those negative things that you want to be different, because it is essentially, and I've been experiencing this so much lately that I don't want to say down to a science, but it's so clear to me. The more you're trying to change it egoically through force of will, basically, and say, no, I want this to be different. Mm-hmm. You're not able to. You might be able to temporarily, but it's not really going to change, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to let up on it. And how many times have we told people recently on these calls, you have to let up on it. You have to let up on it, because otherwise you're just holding this in existence, right? You have to let up on that thing you don't want, and then you have to change your focus. It's sort of a two-step process, if you will, right? Let up on the negative. And then, remember, I talked about that decompression process in the last post, I think. That's, letting up on that negative to the point where you can change it to the positive. Because when you try to do it right away, it's sort of like you're wrenching it away, and it feels really forceful. It doesn't work, right? But if you let up on that negative, and then after it's let up, you let go of it enough, then you shift it, not because you're trying to escape the negative, but because you're trying to create the positive. Then it manifests really quickly.
And sometimes you want to let the negative run its course, so you'll feel the negative energy for a while.
Sure.
And you just let it, you're going to fight it a little bit, but because we're human, that's what we do.
Right, exactly. Right.
But
right.
You really want to try to not do that.
Right.
And you're going to feel it, and then it'll run its course, and then you'll be able to sit there in the zero state, and then you'll be able to start choosing again.
Right, exactly. Right.
And then you just keep going until you feel a negative resistance, and then you don't acknowledge it. And you can just stay at that level until it goes. Sit there at that level, and then keep moving back up like a ladder. And
yes.
Just keep rolling.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's such the difficult part, isn't it? Is letting go of that negative. And it gets frustrating when I have these certain clients or certain people I talk to in the comment section or whoever, it doesn't matter. and they say, this is going on in my life, and this is going on in my life, and this is, I'm saying, okay, but as long as you're giving that power and focus and energy and emotion and emotional investment, it can't change. It can't change. And it takes this great force of will to let go of that, this great amount of trust. And it's not natural. I mean, not to our egos, right? It's natural to our higher selves, but not to our egos.
Yeah, our egos does not let go.
Our ego does not want to let go because it thinks it has the power to change it. And yes, you do have the power to change it, but not through egoic means. You can't look at, let's say, a poor financial situation and through pure force of ego change it to the positive. You can't do that. You have to let up on it, and then you change it. You change your focus, but from the higher self, you change it from a place of creativity and positivity, and not from a place of wanting to change the negative. And it's just hard to get across to people for some reason. I think, it reminds me so much. Okay, I'm sorry, Christine's going to cringe because I used this analogy. What analogy am I about to use?
The dream.
Almost. What analogy am I about to use? Come on.
I don't know.
Oh, really?
Silence?
No. Analogy, not a concept.
You're supposed to know this now.
Yeah, that's right. You're supposed
Which
to know
one?
this stuff. Come on, you've been here for 5.5 years. Oh, Brenda disconnected. I'm
She get
talking.
disconnected.
I think she'll probably call back in. I'm talking about. You're gonna kick yourself. The allegory of the cave.
Oh. I won't cringe.
Well, am I too loud? I feel like I'm higher than I was before. Not higher.
You're not.
I just feel louder. Anyway.
Maybe you're talking louder.
I'm not trying to. Anyway. I'm not coming across too loudly, am I, Justin?
Nope.
Okay. Good. So basically, it reminds me of the allegory of the cave because you know the allegory, right,
Mm-hmm.
Justin? I know.
No, they can't see. All they can see is pictures on the wall.
Shadows. Right.
Shadows on the wall.
Shadows on the wall. And no, I keep trying to quit texting. I don't want to do that. And basically, one guy. So everyone's like chained up, and they've been that way for the whole lifetime, and they're facing the wall. You know that?
No, I got a phone call.
No. Welcome back, Brenda.
I don't know if it's.
Yeah, sorry about that. I
That's
went to hit something and the cord on the
Oh no, it's cool.
earphones hit the end button instead.
Oh. So, should I check to see if I got any text?
Huh?
Should I check to see if I got any? I don't think I got any.
No, I did.
No, but she wanted to try to text.
It would have gone off.
Sure. Well, I have it on vibrate.
Oh,
Anyway.
it would have come on your computer though.
So I'm talking about the allegory of the cave. So the idea is, all these people are chained up and facing the wall, and all they can see is shadows in this big cave, right? And these other, they're constantly changing scenes, like behind them, they're casting shadows on the wall, and that's all they can see. So that's all they think is real. So one guy gets freed of the chains and he goes out and sees the sun, and it takes some time because you can't go from shadow to sunlight in 2 seconds flat.
Oh no.
So, but gradually he is able to open his eyes to the sun, and he goes back in and tries to tell these people, hey, what you're seeing is not real. Oh no, of course it is. I've been seeing this my whole life. Of course it's real. So no one else believes him. Maybe every once in a while, I don't remember how exactly the story goes. Maybe, every once in a while someone might believe him, but not, people don't want to believe that. So, that's like how it is with this. Okay, you have to let go egoically. You have to let go of this negative manifestation. You just have to let go. And people say, that's not going to work. Either they think they've tried it, which they haven't really fully, or they just don't have that trust. I don't know. But it takes letting go, and it takes massive amount of trust and faith to do that and say, you know what, I'm going to be okay on the other side. I mean, again, bringing it back to my experience, I've had so many experiences of the universe making everything work out okay. I don't even question it. I just know that everything's going to work out. I just know. It's not even a question. And so that's a current level goal, you could say. So it does. But, you have to let go. You have to have that trust where you say, I have these negative thoughts, this negative manifestation. I just have to let go of it. I can't focus on it. Every time it comes up, I just have to not give it power, not give it energy, not give it emotion, not react to it. And then slowly with time, it will shift so that you can change your focus to the positive. You can't do it right away. And that's why I say in the decompression process that I talked about last Thursday, you don't focus on your goal for a while. You just get out of that negative manifestation. You just come back up to the surface from that. And then you shift your focus to the positive. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it has to go. But you have to have that trust to let go. And that the whole world's not going to fall apart as soon as you let go. It really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't, right? It really doesn't take much effort on your part. Yeah, I talk about effort in the way of your next level goals. You have to hold the vision. You have to hold that, but there's no egoic effort involved. There's no force. There's no trying involved, right? If you feel that, then you're doing it wrong. So, that's been proven to me over and 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 over again. Lately,
Yeah, it
especially.
works.
It works, right?
Right.
It does.
It does work.
I know. I always. I have to. My biggest challenge is locking in on exactly what I want, because I just kind of, I've always had this thing of in between, whatever it is, in between moments of action, I drift. I've always had that issue, but once I lock in,
Then
I'm
it's
good.
full steam ahead.
But then afterwards, I just disappear. I don't know what that is, and it actually makes it hard to get your manifestation, because you mess with it for a few days, but you don't really exactly zero in on what you want. And so that's why I found out that's so important, where it's like, wait, whenever I absolutely just 0 point exactly what I want,
Yep.
I get it.
And I feel like you get to this point where you just you get to know your own patterns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you know how to circumvent them.
Yeah.
Because that's how it is for me. Like I said, I talked about this many times before, but it was such a breakthrough for me, seriously, that I used to have this belief that I didn't have enough. I couldn't have more than enough money. I always had enough, but I couldn't have more than enough. I mean, miracles would happen to make sure I had enough. I mean, literally, things, heaven and earth would move to make sure I had enough, but I never had more than enough. And that was frustrating. So, I used to think I had this really big, ugly belief that I had to work through and all. And what it was, I just didn't keep the vision longer. I held that vision of, I really need enough money. I really need more money, until I just broke even, and then I let it go. And I didn't hold it. I didn't hold it to say, hey, what if I got more?
I mean, you wore yourself out to get even. So
I wouldn't say I wore myself out. It was just, I knew I would get to the break-even point, but there was this creative tension there that's like, okay, I need to get to that point. But then after that, it's, oh, I'm there. Yahoo! And I dropped it because I'm celebrating. I'm happy. I drop it. Nothing else happens, right? Because I dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
So literally the only change I made is I stopped doing that. I stopped letting that be enough. I made, a few $100s more than enough be enough. So that tension wasn't resolved until I got to more than enough. And then we started having more and more and more and more and more money in the bank, just because I started doing that. That was my new I don't want to say low, but my new foundation, my new base, my new financial base. That was the break-even point, not literally breaking even where, literally everything that came in went out. I mean, we all know how that is, right?
Yeah.
It was, okay, that's not sufficient for me anymore. Now it's not enough for me unless, more comes in that goes out, at least by this much.
I have this thing is I like stuff to be sustainable. So it's like I can manifest abundance. I can find ways. It's like somebody recently offered to be a roommate. I don't want a roommate, so I refused. But I thank the universe. Like, man, that was a money opportunity. I was, man, you don't have to take them all that come up your way.
Right.
And that was great. I was like, man, that just came out of nowhere. That's good.
Sure.
But I can get the abundance, but I like sustainable stuff. So I admit it. That sometimes holds me up because I'll be like, man, I want something that's actually going to really work. Not like home run shot after home run shot. I've hit home run shot after home run shot over the years. Man, I'm tired of that. That thing, man, you just like, trying to get like a semester completed. You have no idea how it's going to happen to the very end. Oh, come on, man. That's ridiculous,
Right. And I think the difference would be you made that negotiable. You made that a question at all. It's even, like I said, for me, it was never even a question that I would have enough. It wasn't really that stressful because I always knew, okay, I've had literally, I've talked about this experience before, 2 months after Christine and I got married, and we were broke in the middle of October. It was like literally in the middle of like 2 weeks in October, we were absolutely broke and we needed groceries.
Christine did not know about this.
She didn't know about it. No, not until afterwards.
Yeah.
So I don't, and this is this might be, some people might think this is bad relationship advice, but I know not to tell her because she will panic. And then when she panics, I will panic, and then I can't manifest the solution.
That's right.
Right? So yeah, she's not going to know unless it comes to like life or death or something where they're going to shut off the electric or something.
Well, we were in college, so.
Well, yeah, we were in college.
One day the lights will just go out. Oh, Brandon.
Wow. My creative side makes sure that never happens. Anyway, but no, seriously. We ran out in the middle of the month. And I said, it's going to work out somehow. It has to. The universe has never betrayed me before and left me hanging. Never, not once. No. So it's going to work out. So I get a freelance job out of the blue. I was doing freelance programming at the time. I get a freelance job. I get $350 up front.
I'll never forget that.
No, the last of the month. That's how it worked. I didn't even know about the law of attraction. It was just these are just my default subconscious beliefs. I just knew it would work. Okay?
Yeah.
So it did, obviously. So,
Good thing you didn't tell me because I'd have been freaking.
Oh, yeah. I know not to tell Christine certain things. I just know.
I don't want to know.
There's no way. I'm sorry if that's bad relationship advice, but
just oblivious, right, Christine?
Oblivious.
He told me eventually, and he worked it out. I don't really care.
I'll be like,
ignorance is bliss. You just want to walk along, enjoy life.
Ignorance is bliss.
Let the chips fall where they may. Let's let Brandon do that part.
Let's let Brandon worry about all the tough stuff.
He told me later. He did tell me.
After I was like, so this funny thing happened. I do that all the time. So this funny thing happened. Yeah, we were kind of broke.
I think I laughed.
Look in the bank account to see.
Oh, she doesn't even know the password. No, so I'm really sounding like a horrible husband. She doesn't even know the password to the bank account, like to the online banking or whatever. So, I mean, if she asked, obviously I'd tell her. Actually, you probably do know because it's like what I use for everything. Plus a few additions. But
plus a few additions.
Well, like
plus, I'm really computer.
She would not, even if I told her this is the password to the banking, she would not have any inclination to sign in and check.
I'm a horrible life skills person. I don't go on and do that stuff because you get me in the bank account, and knowing me, I'd accidentally do something I shouldn't.
Probably. So I don't.
Oops, I didn't mean to transfer that. Where did I put it? I don't know.
I come off as a horrible husband, but it works for us. I don't know.
I
No,
just let
that's
him
fine.
handle the money thing. I'm like, you know what? I will take care of everything else. If you can handle the money, that would be great.
Yeah. So when times are tough, I make sure I step up the manifestation, and it works every time.
I would just tell Archangel Uriel, listen, you got to manifest this.
Gotta make this work.
And he did.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, thank you.
Well, like I didn't think I was going to be able to afford the not to bring it back to the microphone, but I'm like a kid at Christmas when
You don't stop talking about
I'm
one
sorry.
time.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I didn't think it was over $100. This microphone. I didn't think I'd be able to afford it, And I'm like, okay, I really want to get this thing. And then I'm like, you know what? I choose that I'm going to get this thing. Of course, it all worked out, and it was fine. So that you have to choose. You have to choose what you want to have happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anytime we're in a tough pickle, I just step up the manifestation, and it just works out. I mean, preferably you don't get to that point, but sometimes you focus on some negative stuff for a while, and you get kind of in a bad spot. Oh, that's what I did, and I'm going to turn it around and step up my manifestation.
Yeah, it
work.
happens to everybody.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you know how to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
And none of this. Someone was asking me recently about whether this takes like a lot of work, whether I think it takes a lot of action. I mean, I take a lot of action as far as like working on my website. And Christine will tell you, I'm constantly.
He doesn't take a break.
I don't take breaks.
And I tell him, you need to take time. He hasn't gotten his audiobooks he wants to get yet.
No, I really want to.
And I tell him,
Pratchett book.
Just take a break. He won't do it, and I worry he's going to crash.
I know. But anyway, as far as like when I'm manifesting something, I don't make things happen. I don't go out and try to figure out how to make it happen. Do I, Christine?
Nope.
I just
He's
say,
like, okay, yeah, it'll happen.
I just
whatever.
say, like I said, I manifested I tried to manifest $200 last week.
Was it Wednesday?
Tuesday or Wednesday last week. And then within 3 days, 230. Within another day, 125. Within another day, with another 2 days, 60. So
no, it was the next day after the 125.
Oh, whatever.
Yesterday was 125. Today was 60.
So,
you're right.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, it just, I make it, and I didn't do anything. I didn't take any actions towards that goal. Because people criticize a lot. I saw this post.
Also, one thing is people don't understand is, when you've got momentum, you can do those kind of things. Like you've got an avenue for it to come.
Well,
so
it's a current level goal.
Kind of things.
It's a current level goal.
Yeah, and you've built it. People don't understand that. Oh no, you just got it this way, and you just did this and this. No. He's already built this.
Right,
avenue.
I built those subconscious structures over time.
Yeah,
right.
He's got the avenue subconsciously, spiritually, and now physically for the money to get there. So it's not, but you could get the same thing. You just have to actually work it.
Right, exactly. But for someone else, it's not a current level goal. For me, it's a current level goal, which I'm amazed that I can say that because just 2 years ago or even a year and a half ago, it was not a current level goal at all. But over the last several months, I got really good at manifesting that kind of stuff. But anyway, I saw this post recently on Reddit. I follow Reddit, and there's a law of attraction subreddit there. And someone was saying their theory was that law of attraction isn't about, visualization. It's just a psychological thing. It's just psychological.
What?
I said, I'm like, you don't understand. I said, I have visualized things, taken zero action, and they've happened.
Yep.
That's not psychological.
Out of the blue.
Right, out of the blue. Like, it's just confirmation bias. You're ignoring all the times that it didn't happen. I'm like, no. I've tested this rigorously over, time.
If it doesn't happen, I tinker with my technique.
Exactly. I'm like, I did something wrong.
Actually, I'm not ignoring them because I want it to happen. So I use my technique to make sure it happens.
And make sure it happens. Right. So, and they're like, well, if I have real evidence, then I'll believe it. I said, no. Law of attraction is you believe it and then you see it. Mm-hmm. Not the other way around. You believe it and then you see it.
You'll see it when you believe it by when you die.
Yeah, I knew it sounded familiar. So it's not a psychological thing. Like I said, that that money manifestation I had, and I hope people don't mind me giving personal examples, but
it's the best.
It helps with
I
illustrating.
always love personal things.
What examples of the guy wants you to have? He said, if I see what evidence?
He wanted like concrete evidence, like scientific evidence that this stuff was real, not just subjective experience.
Evidence.
I'm also not concerned whether someone believes me or not. I just execute.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, but seriously, this stuff, when I set a manifestation, when I set a goal like this, I don't take action. Now, something presents itself. Okay. And one more thing is, sometimes an action will present itself and it feels like at the time like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. That's another good opportunity. And then later on it clarifies itself. Oh no, that's not. That's not. I'll give an example. Christine, I'm sorry, you don't know the ending of this one yet.
Okay.
So
thanks for the warning.
I was contacted back earlier this month by basically an ad agency. This ad agency from, you remember?
Oh yeah.
This lady emails me from the site, and she's from Europe, I think. I don't know where. And she's like, our client is in, the alternative medicine industry and thinks your website would be a really good match and wants to put an ad on your site. And I'm like, okay, I'll think about it, and it was like, it was going to be, I
forgot about this.
Yeah, I checked into the amount. It was going to be $80 it was going to be. For basically what it was is they were going to write a guest post and link back to their site, and it would be I'd get paid for letting them do that, right? For the search engine optimization value of that. All right, that's it felt pretty good. So then I didn't hear anything. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And she's like, well, the client's away until the end of January, so we have to wait till they get back for your site to get approved. So I get this email. I can't remember if it was yesterday or Sunday. I think Sunday evening. I get this email and she says, okay, we have, actually, I'm going to look up, I'm sorry, Christine, I'm going to look up the exact, because I want to point out what the keyword was. Let's see. So she's like, we have this keyword and, so this is, and then we'll write the post and then, whatever. And when I heard the keyword, I'm like, here it is. That's not going to be a match to me, So okay, let's see. I mean, it's not a bad keyword. It just wasn't really a match to what I'm doing. Okay, I just want you to know that your site has been approved by my client. Okay, for the keyword, online counseling experts.
No.
That doesn't match me. What are you talking about?
First, you're not a counselor.
No. What are you talking about? Online counseling.
Jeez. Did your microphone turn off? Because
I think Justin's are you there, Justin?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You got quiet.
No, our microphone. I don't hear us.
Am I audible?
Yes.
I don't know.
Brenda.
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay.
I just don't hear us anymore.
I'm not sure. I didn't get quiet or anything?
Nope.
Okay. You know what it is? I turned my volume down. That's what it was.
Oh.
I'll tell you, I want to get me a wife like Christine just along for the ride.
Sorry.
Whatever. Anyway, so
sorry, I was just making sure.
Why do you want that, Justin?
She just... I mean, you don't know the end of this one yet.
She's just cool. She's very zen about a lot of stuff.
She's very cool and very zen. It's great.
Oh, but you don't know my wrath.
That's true. She has a bite.
I can get
That's
pretty.
True.
She has a bite.
I can get pretty nasty.
Anyway,
I'm enough of that for both of us. So that's why I need a zen.
You're a zen wife. So I, this.
Don't end the meeting.
I'm just giving
just
it for
kidding.
Too. So I get this keyword, online counseling experts. And I'm trying to imagine this post optimizing for online counseling experts. And it's like, that doesn't fit at all.
No.
I'm like, no, that's not going to work.
So
of course, the ego. I didn't respond yet. I'm going to respond tomorrow, because tonight I'm busy. But my ego, of course,
it doesn't take long to respond.
That's true. I'll respond. My ego is saying, it's $80, but my higher self's like, no.
No, because you're not a counselor.
I'm not a counselor.
That would not. No,
it's not
we
gonna,
don't. No.
It's not going to.
Would they not do their homework, the idiots?
And you're not even allowed to. You're not even allowed.
Well,
you're not even allowed to say, okay, this is a guest post from such and such, and this is or a sponsored post. Like, it has to be totally transparent, or actually no, opposite of transparent, I guess. But they can't know that it's like a sponsored post or whatever.
Well,
so
no, the reason why they did that is because what you do, if you don't know the difference between life coaching and counseling, if you don't really know exactly what's happening, it sounds like it goes together. Right. But it really, and it is similar, but it's not. Like, it's not the same.
Right. So yeah, so that was, sometimes my point with action, sometimes something will come up and it'll be like, maybe, and then you get more information. It's like, no. So you have to have the wisdom to know what the difference is. You know what I mean?
Right.
What actions you can take and which ones you shouldn't.
But some energies are a match almost.
Right.
And the universe is saying to you, hey, you're headed the right way. Or giving you a test or something like that. Right.
Exactly. So, why this manifested, I have no idea, because it wasn't ultimately a match. But, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I know enough that it wasn't a match, and it's fine. So, but yeah, that happens sometimes.
And maybe they'll have something different. You never know.
Yeah, who knows? But, I'm open to anything that comes along as long as it doesn't, violate my own code, my own ethics or whatever. But it just didn't feel right. It just wasn't a fit, So, but that don't happen. You'll have stuff that comes that's close but not quite, and But as far as action is concerned, opportunities will come up for you to act, and it'll be natural. You'll know it's the right path. Mm-hmm. Even if it takes a lot of work, you'll know it's the right path.
Now I'm working on a couple of next level ones right now. So.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
That's good. Those are tough. I mean, I'm glad I took the break that I did from the next level stuff. Remember how I said about you have to kind of take a break, take a rest, and just sort of let your energy catch up and release all that. But it's fun to work towards the next level stuff. But as far as action,
actually happened, so yeah,
right. As far as actions, though, it's because I get a lot of questions too about, well, is the action going to feel 100% wonderful all the time? No. No. But you'll know it's the right one. So, and people get all messed up about this. Like, they'll say, well, does that mean I have to force myself to do something? No.
You're supposed to glide into them.
Right. You'll know it's the right thing to do, but I'm not saying you're going to love every second of it. But you'll know it's the right path.
You just sort of choose certain actions when you're supposed to choose them. Like, I've just done that recently. It just happens. You got to know when you're ready. You worry at it a little bit. You're ready, and you just do it. It's like you just sort of choose it, and it's done.
Yep.
You go, I want, when the action fits the thing that you want, when you say, I want a certain style to do a certain thing, the actions that fit that thing, the stuff that you're looking for, is what you do. Right. Because you're getting something A so that you can do something B. Like, there's like reasons. So when those actions line up, you just choose them and you take them as they come. Mm-hmm. You just find a way, and for me, they're archangels, but whoever you're calling on will make it work for you, or your universe will make it work for you.
Yeah. So I think, the biggest thing for people to remember is, number one, the stuff works. I say this all the time, but it really, 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 really works. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't absolutely 100% positive. I used to be at this point where I was like, I don't know, like, how can it work? It just seems so out there. It just seems so, magical, and it is magical. But
I was convinced that it worked as soon as I heard about it.
Really? I have a very, very logical mind. It takes a lot. Ask Christine.
Oh,
it takes a lot to get my mind on board. My ego's like, no, I don't know about that. It's like trying to
basically I also didn't have a choice.
Right. And that's really what got me into it.
Desperate situation.
That's what it was for me. Remember the experience in September of 2015 when I had like no money, and I was like, all right, this stuff is make or break at this point because that's all I have. I don't have actions right now. I don't have actions. There's nothing I can do. So it's this or nothing, and it worked. So that was the beginning of it. It still took another good while for me to really, really, really ultimately trust in it. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I mean, there are many times that I have trouble with it, but they're fewer and far between than they were. But so you have to have. First of all, it does, like I said, it does work. You have to have trust in it. You have to not let your ego sabotage things, because it will. Because it thinks it knows the best way, and it doesn't. And you just have to set your goal, set your vision, know what kind of goal it is, and just go after it. And not take, basically, like I've said, not take no for an answer. And that's what it is. And I think, we do things in such a different way here. But for me, they work. For a lot of other people I've heard from, they work. I get a lot of comments and emails, and they work. What were we gonna say? We're gonna say something, Justin? Did I get disconnected? Am I here? Oh, what were you saying? I got muted or something.
I was saying I was reading Wayne Dyer, and I didn't realize what I was reading until partway through the book, and I was like, I honest to God don't even know why I started reading the book. I think it was something about his heritage or something like that.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of it, but I was reading it, and I go, wait a minute. First off, when did I start reading this book? And second, he did what?
Right.
I remember sitting here and looking back at my computer screen and then looking back at the tape recorder going, or the PS player going, wait a minute. Wait, I don't have to see to do this. Yep. This has to work because I was in hopeless straits at the last job I had.
Right.
So this is the only way out, really. This is it.
Right.
So we had to work our way out.
Yep.
I'm like, wait, I can keep the entire thing together. Even if I can't advance, I can still keep the entire universe around me and bring it upon. Okay, yeah, we're gonna try this.
Right. It works. It does work.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice discussion. We didn't have really any questions. I thought it was good to just sort of cover, it
was a good review.
Not just the basics. We wanted a lot more than just the basics, but everything that really needed to be covered.
It was like a review, sort of.
Yeah, in a way. So that was really good. So
and deeper.
A review plus. Yeah. So, any questions before the end? Cool. So I'm gonna go work on my blog and try to finish it before midnight.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so I thank everyone for joining, and hope to see you next week.
Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Is that a cat purring?
You too. Bye.
No, I don't think so. I don't hear any cats.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.